This is Joe Biden, the resident of the United States.
No matter what their cost, 2, 10, 12, 15, oops, stepping on it's black, anyway.
81 million votes, guys. Anyway, in the days leading up to the election, Joe Biden hit the road to stump for candidates and try and get out the vote by prematurely celebrating the end of fossil fuels.
Folks, it's also now cheaper to generate electricity from wind and solar than it is from coal and oil. Literally cheaper, not a joke.
And I think you know by now that when Joe Biden says, not a joke, that means he's lying.
I was just, and so we can accommodate that transition. I was in Massachusetts about a month ago on the site of the largest old coal plant in America.
About a month ago was actually over 3 months ago, but semantics.
Guess what?
What, Joe?
It costs them too much money. They can't count. No one's building new coal plants because they can't rely on it.
Okay, so Biden is talking about Brayton Point Power Station, which closed in 2017. It was dealing with lawsuits from environmental groups and the cost of forced upgrades to meet ridiculous green standards from the Biden-Obama administration, just to be clear.
They can't rely on it, even if they have all the coal guaranteed for the rest of the existence of the plant.
First of all, if coal plants are so expensive to operate and are unreliable, then why is China building so many new coal plants? Second, no one is building new coal plants here in the US because environmental groups block any new construction with tons of litigation. Not to mention, the Biden administration's social cost of carbon charge of $51 per metric ton of carbon dioxide emissions is insanely high.
We're going to be shutting these plants down all across America and having wind and solar.
So Joe Biden is bragging about closing coal plants. And it's not because coal isn't a viable energy source. It's because he has a deep hatred for fossil fuels of any kind and is doing everything he can to put them out of business to meet his ultimately unattainable climate goals. Plain and simple. So in response to this, Senator Joe Manchin put out a statement saying that President Biden's comments are not only outrageous and divorced from reality, they ignore the severe economic pain the American people are feeling because of rising energy costs. Comments like these are the reason the American people are losing trust in President Biden and instead believes he does not understand the need to have an all-in energy policy that would help keep our nation totally energy independent and secure. It seems his positions change depending on the audience and the politics of the day. Fact check true, Senator.
No more drilling on federal lands. No more drilling, including offshore. No ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period. Ends. So my message to all companies is this. You're sitting on record profits, and we're giving you more certainty. So you can act now to increase oil production now.
So on one hand, Biden is vowing to put the oil companies out of business. But on the other hand, he's angry that they won't do what he wants. Makes sense to me, what's your problem? Anyway, Manchin continued, being cavalier about the loss of coal jobs for men and women in West Virginia and across the country who literally put their lives on the line to help build and power this country is offensive and disgusting. The president owes these incredible workers an immediate and public apology, and it is time he learn a lesson that his words matter and have consequences. An apology? From Joe Biden? Yeah, good luck with that. In fact, hours later, the White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre put out a statement in an attempt to lower the temperature. In the worst possible way. The president's remarks yesterday have been twisted to suggest a meaning that was not intended. He regrets it if anyone hearing these remarks took offense. So what she's saying is that Senator Joe Manchin is twisting Joe Biden's words.
So we just wanted to be very clear on that, which is why we put out a statement. It seemed like there was some confusion on that.
Oh, really? Confusion.
And so, I want to say this. It was, some of you were there. It was loud and hard to hear.
It was loud and hard to hear. That's the excuse she's actually going with. But what Karine Jean-Pierre is forgetting is that the official White House transcript exists.
I think, or maybe not exactly what was being said, but I currently don't want to get into punditry from here and why we did it or do it or paid or did it on TV.
What?
But I spoke to this over the weekend. The president's words, we believe, were twisted, and we were very clear about that. And anyone who knows Joe Biden knows he comes from a coal country, from Scranton, Pennsylvania. His great-grandfather was a mining engineer, as you all know.
First off, no one cares about Joe Biden and his fantastical family history. Second, Joe Biden clearly said,
We're going to be shutting these plants down all across America.
he didn't say they're going to be shutting these plants down. He's saying very specifically, we are going to be shutting them down, as in his administration. This is one of those rare times that Joe Biden was clear and precise. But for Karine Jean-Pierre to say that people are twisting his words and saying that it was loud, so you misheard him, is the ultimate in gaslighting.
These weren't some novel comments as they were taken and twisted to be. And so it was twisted. We believe what he was trying to say was twisted. How it was reported out was being twisted.
Now, if you think all of that was bad, 2 days after his coal comments, Joe Biden was at a rally in New York and told a protester the following.
No more drilling. There is no more drilling. I haven't formed any new drilling.
Literally 5 more years of offshore drilling.
No,
In the Atlantic or the Pacific, but in the Antarctic and off the Gulf of New Mexico, or off the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay, first of all, this protester yelling at Biden doesn't understand the difference between the Arctic and the Antarctic. That's pretty clear, because Joe Biden has no jurisdiction over anything to do with offshore drilling in Antarctica. Second, Biden didn't release 5 more years of offshore drilling. Wow, a protester not understanding the issues that they're protesting? I know you're shocked. The Biden administration put out a 5-year proposal regarding oil and gas lease sales. Between 2023 and 2028, the Department of the Interior would hold 11 lease sales in the Gulf of Mexico and in the Cook Inlet in Alaska, which for clarity is not in Antarctica, let alone the Arctic. So when Biden said, there is no more drilling, I haven't formed any new drilling, he's confirming what we already knew. Even though there's a congressional mandate to hold these sales, the Biden administration could care less. For example, it did hold an offshore sale in November 2021, but after environmental groups like Earth Justice sued the Biden administration, a federal judge blocked those sales, and Biden was in no hurry to appeal that ruling. So what's going to happen is that if any of those lease sales go through, environmental groups will sue, and then the Biden administration will throw up their hands and say, well, nothing we can do about it. Anyway, back at the rally, Joe Biden bizarrely told the protester that he had nothing to do with that proposal.
that was before I was president. We're trying to work on that, get that done. Thank you.
That was before I was president. It's literally from his Department of the Interior, from July of this year. Or are we twisting his words, Karine?
We believe his words were twisted.
Anyway, that's it for now. Follow me on Twitter at Don't Walk Run, and be sure that you're still subscribed to the channel. As always, I hope to see you next time. If there is next time.